They're going twice.
Maybe you can do it one time.
60K, 60 days.
Super lucky. What's up, Stallions? Welcome to week 3 of 60 days, 60K. If y'all haven't watched week 1 and 2, I suggest hitting pause right now, go back and watch those 2 videos, and then pick up right here. After week 2, I'm up over a little $20,000 on my 1K a day pace. So this week, I just need to pretty much break even and I'll still be on pace. Well, the week didn't start off like that and I fell way below the average halfway through the week. So what would I do? Would I get out of the trap by the end of the week or would I dig further into it? Let's go jump into the action and see how this week went.
We would go into week 3, day 1, better known as day 15, with quite a cushion on our pace. Our pace currently is $14,000 and we were sitting at $20,295. I decided to go ahead and play my favorite game, the 1-3 PLO game at the garage. I would start this session with an initial $1,000 buy-in. I played a few hands and got up pretty early, and then I ran into one big hand that would put me back in the hole. The hand we'll talk about, I had 2 pair in my hand, 9s, my favorite pair, and 10s, my second favorite pair. So this was a hand that I just wasn't gonna fold, and I wanted to get as much money in against the players that I was up against. At this point, we had been playing for a few hours, and a brand new player just came down and sat down in the 9 seat. And he is a huge action player that I have a lot of history with. The new action player made this hand blow up pre-flop, and we ended up committing $2,100 pre-flop and got it in 4 ways. I would flop the dream flop. 9 high with 2 hearts, giving me top set with a 10 high flush draw. Bad news for me, the turn would come a heart, giving me a 10 high flush draw, which couldn't beat the action player's jack high flush draw. But fortunately, I still was able to win a side pot against another action player, so I didn't go completely broke in the hand, but I did end up losing money in the hand. I would end up adding on after this hand, being in for a total of $5,000 on the day. We'd play a few more hours with not a lot of notable hands, but at the end, I was stuck and we decided to do a no bet. A no bet is when we all put money in and we just turn over our cards and see who wins. After the no bet, I would be left with $2,800 in front of me, bringing me to a total loss of $2,200 after a 3.5 hour session. This loss would still leave me above pace for the weekly 60K 60 days. After 15 days, I should be at $15,000 and I was at $18,095. After a loss on day 15, I woke up day 16 hungry for a win. Before I decided where I was going to play day 16, I decided to go visit my grandparents and have a conversation. My grandfather was one of the reasons that I got into poker in the first place. With his win blood running through my veins, I just always loved to gamble. We would go to the casino the last years before he passed away and play Pai Gow all day and all night. These were some of my greatest memories with my grandpa, and I know he's looking down and deciding I made the right decision to not become a doctor, to not become a lawyer, but to become a poker player. Gamblers need to have a short memory, so after a loss, a real winner just shakes it off and moves forward to the next day. I would move forward on day 16 and play at 101 Richmond, where wins aren't hard to find. I would end up playing a 5-hour session in which I was in a total of $2,860 after time and buy-ins, and I cashed out for a total of $5,050. This would leave me at a win of $2,190, which would almost make up for the $2,200 loss I had on day 15. When there's a storm brewing in Houston, Texas, there's only one thing to do. Stay inside and play PLO with all the degenerates.
How's it going, guys? Day 16 was a success. I actually won almost exactly what I lost the day before. After 2 days in this week, I'm pretty much dead even. Sometimes that just feels like a waste of time. I've played 2 5-6 hour sessions and I'm not up any money this week. It feels like you're spinning your wheels and not getting anything done, but that's just what poker is sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna have a loss and you're gonna be fighting out the next day. So it feels good to be out the next day. Most of the losses in this challenge, I've redeemed myself the next day with a big win, so I've recovered +1. Yesterday I recovered, but I didn't make up anything. Today I just need to put in a solid session, so I plan on just booking a win today and getting through. So if I'm making up for the 2 days previous, I really need to win about 3,000 today. So my goal today is 3,000. I usually don't set daily goals as big as this. It makes me want to chase some hands at certain times instead of just trying to play a solid session the whole day. I might play some extra hours to make sure I hit that goal. Here we go. 60 days, 60K, day 17. Here we go.
With a $3,000 goal in mind, which is 3 times my normal goal for the day, I would have to decide which game I would play that would give me the best chance to make that kind of money. I would look around the room and saw a couple 1-3 tables, not very many chips on the table, so I decided to go play the 1-3-6 game where there was plenty of action, plenty of chips. I would buy in this session for a little more than I normally buy in. Typically, I'll come in and start with a 1K buy-in and just try to get it all in at some point so I could get a double or triple up. Well, today I bought in for 2,000 because there were a lot of chips on the table and I wanted to be able to make a hand pay off against some of the action players. Well, one of the first hands I get aces with 1 suit and I have a chance to put 2 smaller stacks all in, and so that's what I decided to do. Unfortunately, my aces would not hold against one of the hands and I would end up losing the pot. I decided to add on for another $1,000 and that would be my last add-on of the day. I ended up making a little bit of a comeback when I looked down at King, Jack, Jack 5 double suited. We ended up recording all streets of this hand, so I will show it here and kind of give you a little bit of thought process through the hand. In the 1-3-6 PLO game in Houston, there was an optional $15 straddle, which allows anyone to bring in the hand for $75. Well, in this hand, I was in middle position and decided to raise my King, Jack, Jack 5 double suited to $75 pre-flop. I would end up getting 3 colors pre-flop, making it a total of a little over $300 in the pot. And we would see a flop of King of Clubs, Queen of Clubs, 5 of Diamonds. Now this is a very coordinated board for my hand. I flopped top and bottom pair to go along with 2 blockers at the nut straight and also the second nut flush draw and also a backdoor flush draw. If I can get this hand heads up against one other hand, there are not a lot of hands where I'm a huge dog and I should be the favorite against a lot of hands. I decided to pot it here to try to get it heads up with one other player, and my wish comes true. I have one person call the $325 bet. After isolating it to one other player, I have to start putting him on a range. Does he have a hand like Queen Jack 10-9 with 10 high club? If so, I'm a huge favorite. Or does he have a hand like Ace Queen Jack 10 with ace high clubs, in which I'm virtually a coin toss? Well, let's go to the turn and see what comes next. The turn would be the 7 of diamonds, giving me a king high flush draw as well as top and bottom pair. Along with 2 blockers, the 2 jacks are blockers at any straight draws that he could have. Once I picked up the second flush draw, there was no way I'm ever folding in this hand. I decided to put in a bet amount that would cover my opponent all in and make him make a decision. Is he gonna put it all in on his flush draw? Is he gonna put it all in on his top 2 pair? Or is he gonna put it in on middle set? I really don't know what he has at this point, but I know I have outs no matter what hand he has, so I decided to make him make the decision and commit all his chips. While he's thinking, you can hear the 101 odor in the background telling me to get the rest of my Stallions up there, play a little PLO.
So the Stallions, what's up, Will?
I know.
Get the Stallions here.
The river would come the 9 of hearts, which wasn't particularly a good card for my hand, but it ended up being just okay because after the river came, I turned over my hand and my opponent threw his hand face down into the muck. We would end up scooping this pot and be right on track to getting our 3K for the day. I would never ask a player what he mucked or what he was chasing in the hand. I already won the hand, so it's no need to try to get extra information from him after losing a hand. But if I were to speculate on what he had, I would think he had something like Ace Queen 10 with Ace 10 of clubs, and he was drawing at the nut flush draw and a gut shot. This hand would make up for the hands I lost earlier, and I was officially out of the hole. Now it was time to work on that $3,000 win that I needed. Towards the end of the night, a lot of people were gambling for a lot of money. I ended up winning a hand where I had pocket kings and it came an ace on the flop and I still was able to scoop a side pot of well over $4,000. At 1:30 a.m., I decided I had had enough. I'd been playing 10.5 hours. I was in the game for $3,000. After adding my time charges of $105 in, I was in for a total of $3,105. I would cash out $6,500 at the cage, bringing me to a profit on the day of $3,395. I hit my goal and it was time to go home.
And now we're on day 18, back out here at 101 Richmond. Said it's the most convenient place for me to play. I love the food out here, I love the atmosphere, I love the dealers, the floors. It's always been a good place for me. It's changed from 52 to 88 to 101 now. I've always liked this room, I've always enjoyed it. No matter who is running it, the cash games have always been good here. So I'm gonna put some hours in here today. It's Friday, we're gonna play some 5-5-10 tonight, I believe, with a good lineup coming. Fridays are always the best days. People are ready for the weekend. We've been working all week. Friday's also payday, so people bring their paychecks fresh here. If I look back at all my numbers, Fridays have been the most profitable.
One of the first hands I would choose to play was 9-10 Jack Queen with 1 suit. I'd been sitting there for about 30 minutes watching all the hands play, and I knew that today was going to be an action day. So I decided to get this hand in 4 ways pre-flop, and I was flopped 100% dead. The flop came King, King 2, in which one guy flopped a full house, and another action player turned an ace to make aces full, which really got the game going. Just to give an idea of how good this game was, there was a hand that I didn't get to play, but it was $1,420 pre-flop, and there would be 6 ways to the flop. That means 6 people put in $1,420, and there wasn't even a flop yet. Flop came out, and the first player decided to jam all in for over $3,000. And just to see how much action was in this game, on the Jack 3-4 rainbow flop, he got snap called for over $3,000 with the deuce 4, 8, 9. What a game. Only in Houston, Texas.
And it hasn't been a good morning so far. I'm stuck about 2,200 maybe right now, but the table is amazing. We've got some local Houston legends. We got Ajay, we've got Mindy. There's a lot of money out there. I think Ajay has like 15,000 in front of him, so it should be a good game. We're in more than we want to be, but have to be when the game's playing this big. Goal is get in there, win a couple more hands back, get out of the trap, and then make some profit. We are on day 18 here at 101 Richmond, and it is not a good one. Down over 7,000 right now, but I'm in the craziest game of all time. Had multiple 10K winners already. There's still a lot of money on the table. There were 21K chips on the table earlier. It's time to start hitting a hand. We gotta get out of this trap. I haven't won a hand in probably like 4 hours, but every hand is like 8 to 15K. So just need to win one of them and we're out of the trap.
In this session, I would never even sniff being a winner. I started out losing from the beginning and just kept on digging my hole deeper and deeper. After sitting patiently for 11 hours, I thought I found the perfect spot to get out of the hole. I was currently in this game for $8,500, and I had roughly $5,000 in front of me. I was stuck $3,500 to start this hand, but I knew that if I won this hand, I could be out of the trap with some profit in my pocket. I was dealt Ace-5 of diamonds, Ace of hearts, King of clubs. Luckily, I was able to 3-bet this hand pre-flop to isolate it to me and 2 other players to see the flop. The flop would come the King of diamonds, the 9 of hearts, and the 2 of hearts. It's a fairly safe flop for my hand since I'm blocking the nut flush draw, and I'm also blocking top set of kings since I hold the King of clubs in my hand. I am out of position in this hand, so I decide to go ahead and lead it like I have aces with the ace high flush draw. I continue bet for $1,200 into about a $1,500 pot, and I get 1 caller out of the 2. At this point, I need to try to put a guy that has an unlimited range on what type of hand he'd be willing to call me in on this flop. Now, it's not sold that I had the ace high flush draw, but I'm trying to sell that story. So he might have called with the lower flush draw, possibly the king high flush draw with the king. So he has 1 pair that's smaller than mine, and he's drawing at the flush. It all depends what this turn card comes to see how I'm gonna play this hand. I'm sitting here waiting on the turn, thinking of what a good turn card would be for me, that I can still bet, possibly get him off the hand. Thinking in my head, maybe the 5 of clubs, maybe the 4 of clubs. Oh wait, maybe the 6 of clubs. The perfect turn card for me. So now that I had the 6 of clubs on the turn, I gotta do a little math. There's roughly $4,000 in there, and I have about $3,500 sitting in front of me. So I decide, if I can get him off this draw right now, I've got a good chance to win this hand and be closer to even. So I jammed for a little over $3,500 with only 1 pair, which I very rarely do. At this point, I really want him to fold. I'd be very happy to scoop the $4,000 in the middle without having to risk the other $3,500 I just bet. If he just folds, then I got $7,500 in front of me, and I'm only $1,000 away from being even. Well, I had to sit there for a good 2 to 3 minutes while he thought about what I could have, and he talked out loud with me. He finally decided I had aces and only 1 pair in this hand, and that I had the ace high flush draw. Before he calls, he said, well, if you do have the ace high flush draw, I can still make 2 pair, or I can make my straight. His hand ended up being Jack 9, 7, 8 with a Jack high heart draw. I was really hoping he would fold in this hand and I could just take it down there without having to risk that extra $3,500. Unfortunately for me, he decided to make the call, which I still didn't mind at the time because I thought I was ahead, but the river would come the King of hearts, leaving me getting scooped. Now I'm in a sticky spot. It's 1:45 in the morning. I'm in for $8,500. I have $0 in front of me, but there are a lot of chips on the table. What do? Do I rebuy, or do I just go home and call it a night? Well, you guessed right. I decided to rebuy for another $2,000 and to keep playing for a few more hours. The next thing I knew, it was 3:30 in the morning and I wasn't making any headway on the hole I'd dug myself. I decided to take the $2,400 in chips in front of me, take them to the cage, and cash out and call it a night. it would end up being an $8,100 loss in a 13-hour session, which is really gonna put me behind track on 60 days, 60K. Day 19, I would spend reflecting on the day before, where I went wrong, how I lost so much money, and what I could have done differently.
So I'm gonna talk about a session from last night. I messed up on a hand after a raise of 500 and a call. I decided to just flat with king, queen, queen 10, king, queen of spades. It ended up costing me a lot of money. Instead, if I would have reopened and jammed for 2,000, I think I get another hand out at the end of the table, and I get to see 5 cards for 2,000. Instead, I just flatted. The flop comes out Jack, Jack 7, and pocket 7s, and Jack 9, Queen, King, something like that. Gets in as well. Mindy turned Jacks full of queens. I would have turned queens full. The other guy had 7s full. And unfortunately for Mindy, the river came a 7. The guy made quads. But I think if I re-raise that hand pre-flop, I get Mindy in, but the 7s, he had 7, 7, 6, 6 in his hand. I want to say I think he will fold, but with some of these players in Houston, you just never know. So he might have called. I might have just got max pain with the 1-outer, but it's PLO. It's a crazy game. It's a roller coaster. So I lost 8,000 last night, so that really put a damper in the challenge. Down to like 15,200 positive. Was up about 23,000. I was on pace. I think I might take the day off. I got a baby shower to go to. I got a nephew's birthday. It was yesterday, the day before. And then tonight I've got a little couples get together thing that honestly I'd rather be playing poker, but got to do a few things for the girlfriend so I can play late nights like last night and not get any complaints, especially when you lose. When you win, they never complain, but when you lose, oh, are you sure you're using your time at night? You can spend more time with me, you know, all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, man, this is work. We're trying to make some money. We're trying to put food on the table. We'll probably take today off, play tomorrow, play Monday, get us back on track before the end of the week. I got 3 days to close out this 3rd week. You know, we need to make some money, so here we go.
I would spend this day surrounding myself around the people and things that I love, including my girlfriend, my dog, and I took my niece shopping for her birthday. Taking my niece shopping was just the break from poker I needed. I was able to get her what she wanted for her birthday. We were able to walk around the mall and just talk and catch up. Well, I almost forgot how quickly she was growing up, because a little boy came up to me and said, "Excuse me, sir, is this your daughter? Do you mind if I get her Snapchat or Instagram?" I responded with, "I'm not her father, but her dad's a lot bigger than me, and I'm this mad, and imagine how mad he will be."
It's always the #1 question I've always gotten when I meet someone new for the first time. They find out I play poker and they're like, "What made you get into poker? How did that become your life?" It was real easy. You know, I never wanted to work for anyone. I never wanted to have someone to tell me what I could wear, what time I had to be there, what time I could leave. Any of the stuff that just every day I had to wake up and answer to somebody else. So I love being a poker player because I could wake up, do whatever I wanted, plan my own day, plan my own work schedule, plan my own free time. If I want to take the day off, I could take the day off. Just the freedom that comes with it. Most people think it's because I want to make a lot of money. The money is good, and I could be making money doing a lot of things though. No matter what I chose to do to make money, I would either be answering to customers, answering to a boss, answering to a wife, just joking, but answering to whoever. I don't want to do that. I always wanted to just live my life, be happy. If I want to go to the beach, I go to the beach. If I want to go to Mexico, go to Mexico. If I want to go to Florida, go to Florida. You know, just live your life and don't let anyone else tell you what you can do and what you should be doing. Just do what feels right and you'll be rewarded in the end. Just always work hard at whatever you choose.
Day 20, Stephanie decided to spoil me to make sure that I had a good day. I woke up to steak and eggs, got to eat with my best friend Gaio and the love of my life. Then came the important decision. Where would I play today in a must-win situation? What's up, Stallions? We're here on day 20 of the 60-day 60K challenge. I had a little setback day 18. I took day 19 off to spend time with the girlfriend that I've been not spending a lot of time with because I've been playing a lot of hours. I've been playing a lot at 101 Richmond. I think I'm gonna play at the Garage today, my favorite place to ever play in Houston. Whenever I start hating poker, like, I'm gonna go to the Garage because no matter what, win or lose there, I always have a good time. Greatest people, the greatest food. It's just a fun place to play. I also do run pretty good there and enjoy playing there. So, like I said, I've been playing there, PLO there in Houston since 2007-ish. So 15 years now we've been playing PLO in Houston. We're playing with some of the same guys that we started out playing with. We've obviously added a lot of new ones to the group, and it's really fun just playing with your friends. That's what poker's about, just having fun, playing with your friends, trying to take their money. It's fun taking money from people that, I mean, none of us can afford to lose, but can lose the money with a smile and not let it affect their everyday life. So that's what it is about. Like I said, I lost a lot the other day. It was my time to lose, and I took it on the chin. And now it's time to get back out there and make some money back. Make sure we book 2 wins because we're behind on the week now. It's the first week I've been behind, so let's go. Go Stallions.
I would show up to the garage around 6:30 in the evening, and they had been playing since noon. I was able to get in the game for my initial $1,000 buy-in, and I would never have to rebuy or add on again. After about 4.5 hours, the game started wrapping up and was coming to an end, and I decided to go ahead and call it a night around 11 o'clock. In that 4.5 hours, I was able to take that initial $1,000 buy-in and turn it into $3,700. That would give me a total profit of the day of $2,700, which gets me a little closer to even on the week, but I'm still stuck. I decided to drive out to Katy to start day 21 at Ace City. Now, Ace City used to be called Poker Stars, so you notice in some of the videos, you'll see Poker Stars on the felt, or with me standing outside, it also says Poker Stars on the sign outside. This session started great for me. I bought in for 1,000, and I was up over 1,000 fairly quickly. The day game at Ace City is often built around one big-time action player. He likes to play a lot of his cards in the dark, or just put it all in pre-flop and just hope for the best. It doesn't matter what his cards are, it doesn't matter how much he wins or how much he loses, he's just there to have a good time. And a good time he always has. These are the type players that are the most fun to play with. Because no matter what, win or lose, it's gonna be a good time. They're gonna have fun, you're gonna have fun, and at the end of the day, most of the time, you're gonna end up ahead. So that's why Ace City is one of the great places to play in Houston, because they got a lot of action players out there in Katy. Well, PLO being the volatile game it is, I went from up 1,000 to dead even by flopping middle set. I usually don't like to commit a lot of chips to middle set in PLO, but I had the king blocker in this hand as well, so I'm blocking top set. After getting called on the flop, I put my opponent on having the nut flush draw. He's a fairly tight player, so I knew he would either raise if he had top set, and he wouldn't be drawing at anything less than the nut flush draw. When the Queen of Hearts turns, I feel like it's a safe card for my hand, so I decided to put the rest of the chips in and get him all in. Unfortunately for me, the Queen was a good card for him, and it gave him the Ace-10 Jack wrap to go along with the nut flush draw. I'm still a slight favorite against this big draw, but I really just wanted to take the pot down. Well, we would run it once, and he would hit a straight in the river, giving him the whole pot. This would take me from 1,000 winner to dead even on the day. Shortly after this hand, the main action player in the game had to leave, so it ended up breaking the game. Since this game broke early, I decided it was a great opportunity for me to check out the Chinatown in Katy, Texas. It was nice being able to take a small break from the poker table and eat a good dinner with Stephanie, but I knew that it was time for me to get back to the felt.
All right, we just left Ace City, decided to come to 101 Richmond instead. Ace City was a weird dynamic game, all trying to double up through one guy, but he has to go home at a certain time. So once that game broke, I realized I had to leave. That's the last day of this week, and I am behind on the week. Got some making up to do. Might need to put in some hours today, but got to get out of the trap. This is day 21. We're behind a little bit. So 60K, 60 days. Day 21.
I walked into 101 Richmond around 7 o'clock, and I was still a little nervous from last Friday. Last time I was here, I lost $8,100, and I did not want to have that same session. So I decided to play the smaller game, bought into the 1-3 PLO game for $600. After an hour and 45 minutes, and I was up just under $600, I decided it was time to take it to the 1-3-6 PLO game and really try to get out of the trap for the week. This 1-3-6 PLO game had a lot of the same culprits as Friday. We had the Vietnamese power couple, whose favorite word to say is "pat." We also had one of the dealer's favorite players at the game, who got second a long time ago in the World Series of Poker. He likes to create a lot of action in this game, and throughout the whole game, we were trying to get him to put the blind 50 on, the blind 100, and the whole table was going along with it. So this game was playing bigger than normal, and it created a lot of action. This big time action game included the blind 50s, followed by the blind 100s, followed by the blind 200s. We would also throw a few hands in there where we would do $100 races with the whole table involved, and then every dealer change we'd play the double board bomb pots. So I knew that this was a lineup that I had a good chance of getting unstuck for the week, and hopefully could turn it into some profit. I was in this 1-3-6 game for a little over $3,000, and then I picked a spot to try to get winner for the week. I was dealt the ace of diamonds, the jack of spades, and the 9 and 10 of hearts. We decide to see a flop with this hand. For the typical open in the 1-3-6 with the $15 straddle, $75. There'd be 6 of us that saw the flop, and in Houston, we call that Houston heads up. 1 raiser, 5 callers. We would see the flop of king of hearts, 7 of diamonds, and 10 of clubs. The original raiser, who was a big-time action player, decided to c-bet for the pot for around $450. Another action player right behind him decided that he would quickly call the $450, leaving the action on me. Now I have a decision to make. There's $1,350 in the pot, and I'm sitting on a stack size of just around $2,000. One of the players has my $2,000 covered, and the other one pretty much has the $2,000 as well. I think he was sitting on around $1,800. I decide I have 8 outs at the nuts, possibly a couple aces for a better 2 pair. Let's just go for it here. Even if I lose the hand to either one of these players, I'm committed for the night and I can get it back in another hand. I jammed my entire stack all in on the flop here, and I got 2 callers behind. They both said they have king 10. So I was right. I can hit an ace and still win this pot. Well, good thing for me, I had lady luck on my side. I would find the queen of diamonds in the river to give me Broadway, the nut straight, and the entire pot.
Broadway, 60K, 60 days.
Super lucky! And just like my friend in the video, Alejandro says, 60K, 60 days. We're back on pace. We got back for winner on the week. We'd play a 5-hour session here in which I'd end up cashing out $3,336 winner. I would end day 21 between the 3 sessions with a total profit of around $3,900. This would get me back up over the yellow line. I would end this week playing 35 hours at 101 Richmond, another 7 hours at the garage, and another 3 hours at Poker Stars. Between all these sessions, I would have a total profit of $1,892 or $40.87 an hour. When I add this $1,892 to the end of the week 2 total, puts me at a total for the 3-week challenge at $22,187. That leaves me a little up over $1,000 on the 1K a day pace. So going into week 4, I'm right on schedule.
I'm officially done with the 60-day 60K challenge. So now I can get into editing these videos and get these videos out for you to see how I ended up after all 60 days. If y'all stay tuned, weeks 5 through 9 will be coming out simultaneously so y'all can see the results of the entire 60 days 60K. Go Stallions.